Shalom, Yasharallah. First and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the house of David. Salutations to you, brothers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching the truth and righteousness and sincerity. To you, Israelite foreigners, come back home to the truth. To those that passed on serving the Lord, the dead in Yahweh Shai shall arise first. To those that, I already said to those that passed on. To you, sisters who believe, keep encouraging and supporting your brothers out here teaching us truth, and always commemorate the sister who washed Yahweh Shai feet when you read the scriptures. I wanted to talk about something that literally just popped into my mind. You know that narrative that people have of King James being himself a sodomite, right? I'm going to say this. It's been thoroughly disproven that there's any reason to accuse King James of being a sodomite. A lot of the times where you read about men sleeping in the same room as him was because they were protecting him because people was trying to kill him. You don't realize how much of a Game of Thrones the so-called Dark Ages was. Actually, no, this is after the Dark Ages. But still, like in England between the 16th and 17th centuries, I mean, you see how much power changed hands, how many kings were killed, you know, and they had to absolutely, it's like what Jake says today, right? When a prominent so-called black person does something and is onto something, right? Oh, protect him at all costs. Well, they had to protect him at all costs, including stationing soldiers in the room with him. You know, it wasn't that he was a sodomite. But anyway, none of that is the point here. The point of the matter is, let's say, for the sake of argument, and only for the sake of argument, that there's any merit to the idea that King James was a sodomite. Only for the sake of argument. I hate to even entertain that thought, but let's say he was. I'm gonna tell you one thing: the finished product, aka the King James 1611 version, did not cut sodomites any slack whatsoever. In the books of Kings and Chronicles, they got put to death. Leviticus tells you to put them to death. The New Testament, it tells you basically now we're not putting people to death, but it still discourages it altogether. There's no scripture in the Bible that cuts sodomites any slack and says, oh, you know, you leave them alone. Well, yeah, leave them alone physically. You don't beat them up no more. Okay. But it never does the Bible say, yeah, it's okay to be one. So I'm not going to say that that's proof in and of itself that King James wasn't, but in the message, it doesn't come out any type of friendship. In fact, I mean, go back to Sodom and Gomorrah. There is no mercy in the scriptures. Nothing. You can give the Gentiles more of a break, according to the scriptures, if you twist a few, more than a few. But there's more room for ambiguity as an argument for the Gentiles than there is for sodomites. If you are a practicing sodomite, the Bible cuts you no slack. So even if the author, which he's not the author anyway, but even if the editor, the person who put it out, the publisher, that's what I meant. Even if King James Publishing was named after a guy that was allegedly a sodomite, let's say there's any merit to that, he still didn't change anything in the message. It's still a merciless type of attitude towards sodomites. In fact, I would argue that the mercy that sin gets in the New Testament is really only because, at the end of the day, you know, we realize that our people have been led astray in many ways, so we're not going to do anything to them. I mean, imagine if this world was to actually act towards sodomites the way it said in the Old Testament to do sodomites. Imagine that. Imagine if that would have just been left there. Sodomites already get no mercy with the New Testament. Think about it. You know, but it's just a testament to show you how, you know, these arguments that they try to put up against the Bible, they don't hold water when you really look at the grand scheme of things. You know, they say that King James married his own mother. Well, it's proven he never met his mother. So how would he marry her? Stupid, Ice Cube. You know, but it just goes to show, you know, you want to hide something from a black or Latino, hide it in a fucking book. We damn sure don't read them. You know, but anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.